Welcome back. Not long ago, marijuana created drug kingpins. Now it's creating CEOs.
I think that's the truth. And with that transition comes thousands of new jobs in the Bay State. I spoke with a new wave of employers in the cannabis trade. New at 11. Across the state, more than 1,400 cannabis licenses at least partially approved. From cultivator to courier to dispensary. That means new Massachusetts jobs.
Well, I think the biggest impact is that we're going to be able to hire more.
Ethos in Dorchester, already approved as a medical dispensary since 2020, approved last month to sell cannabis recreationally too. More customers, more jobs.
We are significant employers in the state of Massachusetts.
Apex Noir also recently opened in Boston on State Street. 15 new hires on day one. Probably more once cleared to serve alcohol under this retractable roof.
This is cathartic because my dad had a trash company called Urban Environmental Management, and he cleaned out buildings on State Street. And his picture's downstairs, and so for me to have a business on this street, to be able to hire people, pay them a good wage, and do business here, it means a whole lot to me.
Tito Jackson, a former city councilor, intentionally recruits people of color to work at his shop downtown. Dorchester is where Ethos gets some of its hires, one of the communities designated as disproportionately harmed by marijuana's prohibition. Now, cannabis can be a career. Ethos intends to create a diversity plan for recruiting workers and vendors. It's outlined in an agreement with the city of Boston. That kind of hiring plan may be regional. Statewide data shows among the 22,000 people with active accreditations to work in a variety of recreational cannabis jobs, about 69% are white, in a state that's about 68% white. Blandine Jean-Paul respects the support for small businesses, but if Boston wants to create more jobs for communities like Dorchester, she says approving multi-state operators like Ethos is one way to go.
We have to allow these larger corporations to at least build these opportunities for people to come and become employed or learn the business and then potentially grow into cannabis that way.
So you see a pipeline between entry-level jobs in the cannabis industry and then ownership?
Absolutely. My son started as a cannabis advisor when I took my first job with a cannabis company, and now he's an assistant GM.
Surprisingly, most of the cannabis jobs are outside of the city of Boston. For example, Suffolk and Middlesex counties have 35% of the population, but only 25% of its retail dispensary licenses.
Diverse cities like Boston and Cambridge sacrificed speed to open to concentrate instead on equity. It was slow, but also just in the eyes of many.
Equity should be in the front end. Right? It shouldn't be an afterthought.
Cannabis delivery is another state licensed area of the cannabis trade. So far, 49 businesses are fully approved. All licenses went to applicants in equity categories. The expectation is that they'll pay it forward by implementing inclusive hiring practices of their own. Tonight's report is part of a series on the growing cannabis industry in Massachusetts. Scan the QR code on your screen right now to see the rest of our coverage. You can also go to our website, NBC10boston.com.
Well, St. Patrick's Day